We'll begin with our band seniors.
And welcome tonight to William Clark Field in beautiful Somerset, Kentucky, where we got gorgeous weather tonight for the Quick Care Walk-In Clinic High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight's matchup brings to you the Williamsburg Yellow Jackets versus the Somerset Briar Jumpers. As always, Quick Care Walk-In Clinic, we would like to thank them for being a proud sponsor. Any sport, any season offers physicals at Quick Care for only $25. Don't make an appointment. Don't pay for an office visit. Don't sit around the waiting room for an hour. Quick Care gets you in and out and on the field for less. They're conveniently located right behind the hospital, just off Bogle Street in Mid Park West, and they're open late, 9 to 7 on weekdays and 10 to 3 on Saturdays. Quick Care serving Somerset and Pulaski County for over a decade. Chris, we're back in the friendly confines tonight of our own home field. Back outside, beautiful night, can't complain about the weather.
Yeah, second week of the season, Briar Jumpers come in 1-0 after defeating Whitley County 40-8 last week. Williamsburg comes in 0-0 on the season. And we do want to remind everybody this is the Buffalo Wings and Rings video game of the week. You're watching the Buffalo Wings and Rings video game of the week on Lake Cumberland Sports. Buffalo Wings and Rings, wings created your way, always fresh, never frozen. We appreciate them for doing that for us. And like Robert said, it is a beautiful night for football. It's going to be a little bit cool as the sun goes down, which is great. No rain, and we've got a lot of things going on at the Briar Patch tonight. We have senior night going on that they are going to go ahead and announce the seniors. I know it's the second game of the year, and that's typically not when they have it, but to make sure that we get these kids the recognition they deserve, we're going to do that. And we're also going to be doing a honorarium.
Yeah, good luck. I think as honorarium.
Honorarium. We're going to honor Scott Sullivan at halftime tonight, former Somerset graduate, great, played at 1988, graduated. And as most of you all know, if you don't know, Scott is dealing with battling cancer, stage 4 cancer right now, and they're going to do a good thing for him this evening.
That's right. We also like to thank Don Franklin Somerset Family Dealerships for being a presenting sponsor tonight. A big thank you to Don Franklin Somerset Family Dealerships Kentucky for presenting tonight's coverage of high school football. Be sure to take advantage of the end of summer savings at any of their Somerset locations. Visit them on Facebook at Don Franklin Somerset Family Dealerships, where they treat you like family. When you look out on the field, they're giving the recognition to all the seniors, whether they're in the cheer, band, football, whatever it is that they can do. And I always love this tradition where they give the actual bunny to be able to put in the front yard to display proudly for everybody that's passing by. And if anybody's tuning in tonight and wondering, why are we doing senior night so early? Well, the actual season itself is always in question. In the day and age of COVID-19, we just don't know if we're going to be awarded with another game next week or if we're going to get a continuous full season. So I think it's a great idea to come out and give these kids the recognition they deserve early.
Yeah, and we do want to go ahead and honor these kids as well. I know you hear in the background them talking about the seniors, this and that, but just to run down, Robert, the ones that we have here on the football team. Number 1, Madison Rubel. She's a kicker. She's out joining us from the soccer team this year, and hopefully she's going to be able to join us and be playing here very soon. Number 2, your quarterback, defensive back, Kaya Sharon. Kaya's been three-year starter at quarterback, and I know that he is planning on going on to UK next year to play football up there, and we hear he's leaving early. Number 5, Ricky Gilmore, wide receiver and defensive back. Ricky has played defensive back for the last couple of years and helped out offensively as well. Had a really good game last week, so we look to have good things from Ricky this year. Number 7 is Cade Grundy, wide receiver, defensive back. Cade right now is signed to play baseball at the University of Louisville, so not exactly sure what the future brings for Mr. Grundy, but I'm sure it's going to be good things. Number 18, Brandon Jones, tight end and outside linebacker. Brandon has been a part of the team for now 3 years. I think he's a transfer, I believe, came in and has done a very good job, baseball player and football player. Number 23, Mikey Garland. He's a running back and outside linebacker. And Mikey's just one of those kids you love to watch play football, and I expect to see him playing at the next level sometime soon. Number 25, Jackson Cooper, wide receiver, defensive back. Jackson left after his freshman year, I think it was. He got a knee injury, and came back out this year to help the Jumpers. Had a really good game last week, so we're glad Jackson's back with us. Number 28, Dylan Keith, running back, defensive lineman, and linebacker, kind of all over the field type of guy. Dylan's dealing with a little injury right now. Hope that he's going to be okay to finish out the rest of the year. Number 52, Tyler Harvey. He plays offensive and defensive line. Tyler's another one that has been a big part of this success that the Jumpers have had on the offensive and defensive line side of the ball. Number 53, Justin Simmons, offensive line, defensive lineman as well. Justin looking to go on beyond high school, I believe, and play some football. I don't know if he's had any offers right now, but looking for some good things out of him. Number 67, Drew Johnson, offensive and defensive line, mainly an offensive lineman, will help out on the defensive side of the ball. And Drew is also another one that is looking, he will be playing. Has he signed yet?
Who, Drew?
Yes.
I'm not sure that he signed. I know that whenever you mentioned Ben Simmons, Justin Simmons, I think he's got an offer standing at the same location that his brother has.
Yes.
Which is always a good thing because those two kids, special kids, both of them, tall, big linemen, and have paid their dues at Somerset. So I'm just not sure what all offers are standing right now for Drew, but I'm sure at any minute somebody's going to give him an offer that he's going to really want, and he's going to pull the trigger before you know it.
Right. And then lastly is number 77. That's Isaiah Coffey, offensive and defensive lineman. And Isaiah as well is one that has waited his turn and is going to be a big part of the team this year. And that's your 2020 Somerset High School seniors out here this year. They're honoring and recognizing them, and I know that they're also, and I apologize for not having band members and cheerleaders because they're just as big a part of this program as the rest of them. But they're honoring those young men and women right now.
I like the fact that this senior class is getting the recognition they deserve. If you being around them as well with your son, I know they come in with the accolades that everybody had talked about, had a really good showing in the middle school class, paid their dues and stayed for these 4 years, and now they're getting ready to be able to give a chance to shine. When you look at some of these statistics from last week's game, they don't jump out off the page at you, but you're talking about, and this is going to be every team, and Coach Lucas alluded to this in his preseason coaches shows, that we want to exercise patience with these kids. They haven't had a spring, they haven't had a full summer, they haven't had the scrimmages, and they got 3 games cut out on them. And those things alone are reasons that last week, whenever you think, well, the offense wasn't looking as sharp as it should be, or the defense, had some struggles coming out early. But once they started making the adjustments and settled into the football game, you can see that this team's going to be pretty formidable for the rest of the season.
And speaking of which, that's a great lead-in, Robert, because looking at the stats here from last week's game, you're exactly right. It didn't look like in person that, hey, it was a great game, this and that, but we had 504 total yards of offense, 213 on the ground, 291 through the air, and that was without your preseason Mr. Football candidate Kai Sharon at quarterback. That was with your sophomore Josh Gross that came in, did a very good job, and run the offense basically the entire second half. And he was 6 for 9 on the night for 122 yards and threw 2 touchdowns. Kaya, not to be outdone, had 6 for 13 for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chase Doan, so we had 213 rushing yards, led by Chase Doan. 17 rush attempts for 86 yards. Kai Sharon was second on the team in rushing. Cade chipped in, Jared Smith, Guy Bailey, Cam Hughes, and Caden Samal. So we had a lot of rushers as well. And then receiving, Kate Grundy led the team with 3 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. But a big addition this year that really turned out last week was Gavin Stevens. Gavin had 4 catches for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. And a big catch there at the end of the game to get the first down to kind of to run things out. So all in all, offensively, it ended up being on paper a pretty good game.
It was a very good game, and one thing that I always like is whenever you get a chance to get the younger kids in there and get them a chance to come out, give their all for this Somerset team and get out there and get some of that valuable game experience. I don't know what kind of team that Williamsburg has this year. I know that they've lost their
22 seniors.
22 seniors, really, wow.
Yeah.
So you lose that many, and one of them is your leading passer, or probably I would like to even go as far as maybe to say his all-time and probably in the state history in his school. That Ponder kid was for real. But you lose that many seniors. This is their first game. I would even urge, if there's any fans of the Williamsburg team watching tonight, that they exercise the same kind of patience. They had a game that was scheduled for to play Frankfort last week, and it got canceled. And I'm sure that the cancellation was probably due to travel restrictions placed by COVID-19. But the bad luck of it is that they get to come to the Briar Patch tonight and face a team that's pretty veteran as far as the skill positions are concerned, but a team that's already got one game under their belt.
Yeah, and last week defensively, the Briar Jumpers, after the first drive, Whitley County was able to get the ball down the field with quick passes and draws and things like that, and pretty much did what they wanted to the first possession. Then after that, Coach Swearingen stopped, set back, decided, okay, we're going to bring some pressure and put them on their heels a little bit, and they ended up only allowing 60 rushing yards and 103 passing yards on the night for a total of 163 yards. And so defensively ended up playing very well there, and the only score came late in the game when I know there were some starters out and they had some other kids in there. One thing that we talked about, and you'll hear in the coaches show here in just a little bit, was Kay Grundy with a fake punt from his own 8-yard line on a 4th down and about 12, I believe it was, 4th and 12 or 4th and 16, and he ended up getting about a 34-yard gain on the play. But that's something you don't see from a normal punter, and to have Cade back there and Mikey back there to be able to do things like that can ultimately turn a game around.
Well, at this point in Cade's career, everybody kind of knows at this point that he's capable of tucking the ball and running at any given time, so that's always going to be something that's going to be in the back of people's minds. But he also has, and if memory serves me right, he had one great kick. Of course, it was rugby style, and he got the luck of the bounce as well. But that being the case, he's also got the ability to flip the field with his leg, and that's always a good thing to have, especially when you're going to go into the games like I'll even say tonight, because I know that Williamsburg, while they may not be the Williamsburg of old, they're still ranked in the state as far as what I've seen in the Lexington Herald Leader. They ranked them, I think, 8th in Class 1A, and that just goes to show you that they can lose a lot and still be a formidable opponent for anybody they face.
Yeah, they're a young team, no doubt, but they are going to come in. They're going to run a multifaceted offense. They're going to line up, spread you out, look to throw, take advantage of things, and then run when they can. So it's not going to be last year Somerset went down to Williamsburg, and I really felt like that Williamsburg thought that was their year to knock off the Jumpers, and just they played them very, very tough the first half, and then Somerset ended up pulling away for the win. But I want to talk also about the special teams last week, because I know Christian Whitus was one. All of our kickers had trouble last year. And young Mr. Whitus was 4 for 5 on EPs in last week's game, and the only one that was missed was a bad snap.
Correct.
And so he missed that, and then he attempted one field goal and missed it, but it was a bad snap as well. So the times that the kid was able to put his foot on the ball with a good snap, he was right through the middle and was 4 for 5. And then also they let him kick off deep a couple of times last week, and he actually had one touchback went into the end zone. So the young man's leg strength is coming this year as well.
Yeah, and you can tell by just watching him in the warm-ups down here in the practice time that the ball is just popping off of his foot. And Coach Lucas mentioned that at the beginning of the season in his coach's show, that just having that extra practice with Coach Hawkins is really paying dividends for him, and we always like to see that. If we can just – I know that Daniel Richardson came out late. I don't know what their plans are to use him this season, but when you have two kids that are willing and able and have a very good leg, because I think they both play soccer, when you have that kind of weapon in your arsenal, it's always a good thing to have.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I know, we talked about in the very first senior, we talked about Madison Rubel is another one that's been on the soccer team that's come out to help kick off too. So, that's one thing, Robert, that I've wondered for years and have said, there's not a whole lot of good kickers in this state. I know the one up at Lexington Christian is, and I know one over at Hazard we're going to see here in a couple weeks is really good. But I don't know why football coaches, football teams don't go out and get the star soccer player and get them to come and kick out on Friday nights.
Yeah, I don't know either. And it always seems to impress me whenever the soccer player comes out, especially the soccer player with the athleticism and the strong leg. They come out and they perform very, very well, and I don't think that that's a coincidence. I think that's just a real thing. We are now 27 minutes away from kickoff. We are getting down to our final person that we are going to announce tonight for senior night. While we're doing that, I want to go ahead and get a little bit of business out of the way and go ahead and talk to you tonight about tonight's Fashion Report. The Fashion Report is brought to you by Magic Monograms. Conveniently located off North Highway 27 between Big Lots and Backyard Burger, Magic Monograms is the place for custom embroidery, screen printing, and so much more. They can put your designs on medical and athletic uniforms, corporate and school apparel. Find them on Facebook, search Magic Monograms and Embroidery. When you look across the field tonight, Somerset's going to be dressed out in their black uniform with the gold and purple stripe with the gold helmet. And for the Williamsburg Yellow Jackets, they are wearing a black pant with looks like some white striping on the side, a white uniform with orange numerals, a white helmet with looks like a orange colored yellow jacket. And that is tonight's Fashion Report, brought to you by Magic Monograms.
Since 1988, Toyota of Somerset has been serving and supporting our local communities. We want you to know that we are here for you and your family. Someone you can trust, someone you can count on, now and for the better days to come. Trusted, loyal, dedicated, helpful, and consistent. Toyota of Somerset. Come see us or visit us online at toyotaofsomerset.com.
The people of this great land are resilient and will get through this. And buying and selling is the real stimulus. Land and real estate are the premium investments, and they're not just making any more land. At Ford Brothers Auctioneers, we'll get you the most for your property with live, online, and multi-parcel auctions. Selling farms, homes, developments, and commercial properties for top dollar. Give us a call or online at FordBrothersInc.com.